Welcome, Veritas family. This is Give and Take. I am Sherry Davis here again with a repeat offender in Brother Wagner. Thanks so much for hopping on with us, Brother Wagner.
Yeah, glad to be back. Boy, I'm already
Yeah,
thinking
so
about the third time when you invite me. I'm thinking about
yeah,
what we should talk
three-peat.
about.
That's right. I forgot you're a three-peat. That's
Yeah, need
right.
to be.
Very good. Okay, very good. Well, as you know, as normal, if you're watching live or in replay, be sure to tell us where you're watching from. Hop into the comments and let us know. Um, since Brother Wagner has been here with us for a number of years and has been on Give and Take for a number of times, he's jumping into this segment of Ministry Matters. We're just going to give you as much time as you need, so take it away, Brother Wagner.
Right. So I told you, Sherry, I wanted to talk about the importance of pastors, especially Christian leaders, anybody that wants to serve the Lord, having a good foundation in church history, right? In
Correct.
understanding how Jesus built his church over the centuries and how much really people have, unfortunately, a poor, many of us, even in our circles, have a poor understanding of how Jesus was building his church and the lessons we should learn from that.
Mhm.
Um, so I thought, boy, Sherry was a student of mine.
Oh my word.
She
If you put
took
me on the
church
spot,
history. She
I will
took
cut
church
this off
history
so quickly.
and Baptist history. And hey,
Yeah.
it's going to reflect on me. It's going to reflect on me if you didn't learn
No, it's
anything.
not. It's going to reflect on my own old brain. But Denny says he's locked in. He says Brother Wagner should be the new co-host with you, Sherry. Yeah, I know. I've had him on a number of times, and it would be a lot of fun for sure. So that's
Yeah,
funny.
two sanguines. That's the problem. See, yeah, you
That's true. That's true.
gotta.
All right, let's see. Are you going to quiz me?
I didn't warn Sherry, and
You
and
did
so I'm going to
not.
bloviate a little bit here so that she get her thoughts together. But she's going to have to come out with at least something she can recall that she can remember from church history and Baptist. You had both, right? Church
Yes.
history and Baptist history.
Yes, I did. Yes, I did.
Something that you can recall that you'd say to yourself, you know what? That probably did change my thinking about some lessons of how Jesus built his church through the centuries and how to look at life in church now based on those lessons.
One thing
So,
has come
so
up, I
that
will
I so
say.
that I
Is this
waste
is this
enough
the
time,
appropriate is this the
huh?
appropriate time to talk about this? Okay, so Michael Raker says he's watching from West Alexandria, Ohio. Hi, Michael. Thanks for popping in today. Are you ready for me to answer before I forget? Because if I don't do it now, it'll fleet from my brain.
There you go. Take it away. Take it away. What
Okay.
do you remember?
One thing that just recently popped up because we were doing a discussion about deconstruction, those influencers or those in popular culture who have fallen away or deconstructed their faith, and it came up that certain of those have some of our friends or some folks have found other religions or denominations or something like that to kind of some have fallen away from Christianity altogether, don't believe in God or on the verge of agnostic or that. But one thing that popped into my mind was I remember studying the those who would be faith, who would have a true view of faith through Christian history. So it wouldn't be Catholic versus Protestant because it wouldn't even be part of the Catholic Church. Like, am I correct in remembering that Protestants came out of the Catholic Church? Is that part correct? Hey, Darla. Um, but that the okay, are you muted? Because I'm not hearing you now. Uh-oh, we got a technical difficulty. Give us a second, folks. You want to check your speaker, your audio
Okay,
on the phone?
okay, okay. How about now?
Yeah, yeah, good, perfect. Um,
Sorry about that. So your grade hasn't going down, so you're still going to get an A. Keep going.
But that there would be true believers throughout all of time that would not be associated with Catholics or Protestants, but that there would be a
Yeah, why would they be? Why would they be associated with infant baptism and the things that we say are harmful to Christianity, really?
but because it would not be truthful, it would not be part of
What they
what the
would get from
Bible
Scripture. Yeah,
what
exactly.
we'd see from Scripture. So there would always
Why would
be this
Jesus use
remnant.
those people to build the church? Yeah, right.
So that actually just came up very recently. Darla's watching here in Fredericksburg, and Dave Anderson from Twin Cities. Welcome, guys. Hey, guys.
Good. Very good.
You're
So,
getting your
so
in-depth theological discussion here. So you popped right in, just right
So
into
the
it.
deconstruction is very, very interesting, and I hadn't thought about that as an application, but that is a very good application because we have a lot of kids in our circles, don't we, who they grow up making decisions for Christ at an early age. They have to get baptized sooner or later, so they get baptized at 10 or 12 or whatever, and it's so much their parents' religion, really, it's a religion
Mhm.
and they're submissive and they're happy to enjoy Christianity because Christianity has a lot of things to enjoy in it. But then when they get to adolescence and go to secular education or whatever, they start hearing these attacks and they start to question, deconstruct, as you were saying. They start to wonder what should I hold on to, what's man-made, what's tradition,
Mhm.
and so they have a choice in the end. They do either go back to thinking because of church history that they might read, I got to go to the mother church. I got to go to Roman Catholicism or Eastern Orthodoxy, or they throw it all out and
Mhm.
it's all a bunch of hooey Christianity, a bunch of murderers, a bunch of liars, and they're looking at Catholicism is what they're looking at. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah,
So
and
it
it's
is very
very
important.
prevalent. It's we were just doing a Bible study with some of our the some teens and college students, and we're just trying to encourage them to be hyper aware. And it was a really good discussion because of course, I'm out of the college age necessarily, but to see what they are struggling with and what their peers are being exposed to. Um, and one very popular, I think they run a podcast. I'm not super familiar with them, but it was them that it was they that were deconstructing kind of very publicly. And I thought, what an interesting, so they were very devout Christians, very strong Christians, at least everyone thought.
Outwardly.
And yes, and then I thought I told them, I said, well, what if a very good friend just came to you and started talking about all these doubts that they were having? At that moment, what do you do? How do you move forward? Because you have this per the perception of a very strong Christian who comes to you talking about like whatever it is, the actual underlying vulnerability that was able to be exploited, the question that that they had in their heart, and they bring it to the friend, like, Have you heard this?" Or, what do you do at that moment? Do you take them
Yeah.
back to the
Yeah.
gospel? Do you go to
Oh
somebody
yeah,
to answer their
definitely. You have
questions?
to, and the warnings that are in the scriptures that we struggle with, we work through in terms of they sound like you can lose your salvation.
Mhm.
Uh, um, we have to come to grips with it. Those warnings are actually for people like you're talking about, who are wondering, are they really saved? And now that you have to find out why are you wondering that? Why are you doubting your salvation? And we have to be careful in our circles that we don't have the same kind of, and this is the term I use, sacramental sacramental mentality that the Roman Catholics and Lutherans and Anglicans so forth, because what do they do? They say, well, sure, you're a Christian. You were baptized. We
Yeah.
baptized you as a baby. We made you a Christian, you know, and they want you to look back on that event. And in our circles, we want them to look back on the event of, well, you prayed the sinner's prayer. You came forward down the aisle, or even baptism, and it's not an event that we do that saves us, right? It's the event that God does. And so what we want to encourage those who are deconstructing two things. One, you want to go to the scriptures and you want to see what are the evidences of true salvation. So for instance, we take them to the Gospel of John if they're unsaved. The Gospel of John was written that you might believe that Jesus is the Christ, the Son of God. But if they know in their mind, if they see in their hearts, yeah, Jesus died for sins. I'm just wondering if he died for mine, if he took away my sins. So then you go to First John, right? First John was written that you might know that you have eternal life, right? So you say to them, read through First John. It talks about the new birth 4 or 5 times and the evidences of the new birth that you should be able to see. If God did the new birth, you should see these evidences because it's his work. It's not your work. And so I always say to them, look, you will not find the sinner's prayer mentioned in First John. You won't see John saying, well, if you're doubting your salvation, think back to when you prayed the sinner's prayer. It's not in First John. You're not going to find baptism in First John. Well, First John's not saying, well, if you're doubting your salvation, look back to when you were baptized. It's not there. It's the evidences of what God does in your heart that you should be able to look back and see. Since I made my decision for Jesus, I've seen these changes that I know I didn't make. I have this hatred for sin. And I know my flesh doesn't have that hatred, but I do. The real me hates sin. And every time I commit sin, I feel guilty. The Romans 7 experience. I don't want to do the things that my flesh wants me to do. And I've started practicing habits of righteousness, which I really enjoy. And I know that enjoyment's coming from the Lord. It's not a duty idea that I have to get this done because the church expects it of me. No, I feel joy when I see a service for Christ that I know he's worked in me. I have love for other believers. And even the hard ones, even the ones that maybe aren't as easy to get along with. I know the Lord's put in me a mercy, a love, a pity. I have more pity for them than I have, anger. My flesh might want me to be angry, but there's something in me that loves them. And these are the things First John talks about. So a person who's deconstructing, you have to get them to do two things. One is go back to the scriptures and look at the evidences of their salvation. And two, go back to the scriptures and see how he defines church. And this is where church history comes in. Jesus didn't start an international denomination. He just didn't. He didn't set up a new priesthood to replace the Levites. There ain't no priesthood. So you're already getting rid of Catholicism, Eastern Orthodoxy, Lutheranism, Anglicanism, and we're talking about the majority of Christendom, right?
Right.
Because they all have priests. They all have priests that become mediators between a man and his salvation. So you have to learn that history, and you have to see that what was established at Nicaea in 325 is actually Roman Catholicism. It's not in our circles, and this is where the rubber hits the road. Our pastors want to put together sermons, right? And so they want to preach through the scriptures because that's how we teach them. But they want to have some good illustrations and some good quotes. And so they find these illustrations from Christian history or quotes from church fathers. And they think, oh, that sounds good. I'm quoting from Augustine.
Yeah.
They would never have Augustine preach in their pulpit, baby baptizer, who allegorizes scriptures. And so they don't understand, they don't have this perspective of Christian history that they should have. How many Baptists have I heard say, look at the example of Mother Teresa? as an example of Christian charity. It's like, what in the world?
Yeah.
The number one Christian charity that you can do is give the gospel. And
Mm.
she didn't even give she didn't even give Catholicism to the people that were dying in India.
Mm.
Um, so so we misuse in our circles Christian history because we don't know it. We don't have the proper understanding of it.
Sure.
Our groups, if we lived back in the 300s, 400s, 500s, 600s, 700s, we were being persecuted. Our groups were being persecuted for not joining the state church.
Mm-hmm.
The state church and the state itself was persecuting groups like ours. And so
Which is
anyway,
why they would have the prevalent documentation, right? Like if you didn't subscribe to their philosophy or theology, then you couldn't publish. There was no way you could get, they were
oh,
not
your
allowed.
books were burned and you were
Yeah.
kicked out of the country. I could bring up if I shared the screen. I could bring up the edicts that the emperors, supported by the bishops of Roman Catholicism, put forward to exile and imprison and keep poor. They actually keep poor anyone who rebaptizes. Basically, they call it rebaptizing. But anybody who left Catholicism and got baptized in another Christian denomination, as they would think of it. Yeah. So anyway, uh, I think every pastor should read the book, The Reformers and Their Stepchildren.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know if I had you guys read that book
Oh, yes.
back then with Leonard Verduin. Leonard Verduin was actually not a Baptist. He was Dutch Reformed, but he did the translation work of Menno Simons, who was an Anabaptist Mennonites came out of, but he was an Anabaptist back in the 1500s, and Leonard Verduin translated his works from Dutch to English, and while he was studying these works, he was thinking to himself, why did our denomination, the Dutch Reformed, why did our denomination, the Heidelberg Confession, damn these Anabaptists to hell, in their documents? Because he was translating Menno Simon's works, and he was thinking, this guy's a Christian. This guy's a brother in Christ. This guy is honoring Jesus. And so he did more research then and realized that through the centuries, and he uses the terms that Luther used as pejoratives against people like us.
Hmm.
Luther had 8 different terms that he would names that he would call Wiedertäufer, and they were German words. So Wiedertäufer was Anabaptist or rebaptizer. Um, a communist, he would call the Christians who would not join Lutheranism.
Oh, wow.
So Verduin wasn't, he was indirectly attacking Dutch Reformed by attacking Lutheranism because that same mentality was in his denomination against the independent Baptistic groups. So
So I have this book here. So you'll have your tip or resource for the students is I wrote down, how do you spell Berduin?
Verduin, and it's online for free. You can get the PDF. Um, I can send a link or something to you.
Yeah.
Then the other one is called The Pilgrim Church by E.H. Broadbent, and he was a brethren from England, and he went over to Europe and searched out the evidences of, because brethren were kind of like us, Baptistic and dispensational, the brethren in England, Plymouth Brethren. And so he went over to England, Europe, and searched out the documentation of groups like ours down through the centuries and put them together in a book called The Pilgrim Church by E.H. Broadbent. That's another good one. Then the third thing is I would recommend uh, any of our Baptist brethren to read the canon laws of each of the seven ecumenical councils of Roman Catholicism. So the Council of Nicaea, Council of Constantinople, Council of Ephesus, Council of Chalcedon, and so forth. The seven ecumenical councils. Read the canon laws that they came up with out of each council. And when you read them, you're going to say to yourself, that ain't us, man. That is not us. That is
Yeah.
a denomination put together by the state. And when you think about it, you think about Jesus, right? And his apostles. They weren't tied to the state denomination of Judaism, right? They were persecuted by the state denomination. Same with down through the centuries. The Celtic Church, the Priscillianists, the Paulicians, they were named all different types of things.
Mhm.
They didn't name themselves that. They were just brethren. They were just Christians. But there were these groups that we would have identified with because they stuck to the scriptures. They stuck to no priests, no
Mhm.
mediators except Jesus.
Is the canon laws of the seven ecumenical councils, is that a work or is that?
Yeah, you just Google that, and the Catholic Church has them there for you. There's another website, the Protestants, they have the same list because they see themselves. See, the Protestants, we don't call ourselves Protestants because we don't see ourselves coming out of Catholicism.
Mhm. Mhm.
We see ourselves as always being in groups separate.
Yeah.
Now, that does not mean there weren't true believers in Catholicism. There weren't true believers in Eastern Orthodoxy or Lutheranism or Anglicanism. There are true believers in every denomination, in spite of the false teaching that they might receive, because their faith is only in Jesus. And that's what God looks for. He looks for that personal faith. And there are unbelievers in our denominations, our
Sure.
groups, right?
Yeah.
Who have professed the true gospel, but they're really not trusting Jesus alone. They're trusting their sinner's prayer. They're trusting their baptism. They're trusting I was brought up in the right group,
Yeah.
and that's why they're deconstructing.
Yeah. That's good. Yeah. That's super helpful and very, very poignant for today. So I've got these list of three books that I will post in the comments for whoever wants to go and do further research. I appreciate you bringing that up because I know that it's not a super um, hot topic as far as like wanting to really dive in and do some deeper research for most. And I think that's probably why it gets us into trouble when we haven't done the real deep work of understanding where we've come from and where those other influences might be showing up and we're not necessarily aware, because we haven't done the research there. So I appreciate you doing that. So
Yeah.
the last segment, was there anything else you wanted to say before we moved on to the s'mores?
No, no. The simplification is infant baptism or believer's baptism, and
Sure.
and Jesus was not building his church through leaders that preached infant baptism,
Mhm.
and so we should not be quoting them. People who quote Calvin, people who quote even modern Sproul, R.C. Sproul, uh, whatever. They think, oh, I'm quoting these intellectual giants. Well, you're quoting someone who got it wrong in a very important issue.
Yeah.
So we got to be careful of how we represent history, is what I guess what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's very good. Okay, very good. Well, I am gonna let me move over here.
Yeah, then we can talk about goodies.
Yeah, so as you guys know, I love to talk about food. So this particular
I
s'mores
love food too, so Carrie
top,
knows that.
I knew that. I knew that. So top four fast food chicken nuggets. So this is gonna get whoever gets this number one is gonna win the whole thing. So we all know who this is. I'm gonna let you go first. I am going to take the notes here.
So I'm
And
going to take Burger King.
you are not gonna put Burger King first. Do what you
I'm
gotta do.
going to take Burger King, and here's why. I have bought Burger King nuggets because they tend to be on sale a lot, and I like good prices, as you know.
so funny, but like the only reason you would buy Burger King is because
10
they're
for
cheap.
10 for $1.50. I mean, how can you beat that?
That is true.
And
They
they are
are
actually a little
terrible
better
nuggets,
tasting.
but they
They
are
are
cheap.
better. They are a little better tasting than McDonald's.
Oh,
So I,
come on. See, I would disagree. Okay, I wish that we had some folks live on here that would really be able, I would love to see who's on our time
but I
on our
know you're not even going to pick McDonald's. I know what you're going to pick.
I actually do like McDonald's. I like it as
Oh, do
far
you
as
really?
yeah, I do. I do like it. Okay, so you're number one. I just don't want to forget our structure here. So you're number one. You're officially sticking with Burger King. That's your number
Yes.
one.
Yes.
Brian, I mean, this is getting ridiculous. Okay. All right. I'm gonna choose
I still have some
Chick-fil-A.
winners though. I still have some winners. If you think I'm falling behind, I'm go
Well,
ahead.
are you letting me have Chick-fil-A? Because I feel like that's what you're doing. You're allowing me to
I
have
am. I am letting you have Chick-fil-A, but I don't like Chick-fil-A for the very point that they cost too much.
but that is true. They are very expensive, but they're, you get what you pay for. So I
Yeah,
feel
but
like
I can't enjoy it. I can't enjoy it.
your conscience will allow you.
Now, if I had a
Okay,
coupon,
that
if
makes
somebody gave me
sense.
a coupon, then I would enjoy it.
I don't, you know what? You have to get in their app. I also advocate for their
I
app
have their
that
app.
allows.
I have it.
So there you go. Okay. All right.
You
So
should
what's your
see
number
my you should see my page 4 on my phone. All page 4 is like all restaurants.
4? I love that you know it by pages. What's your page two? Quick. What's page two for you?
Page 2 is kind of the things I really need the most, except for
Got
the
it.
page 1, which is half filled with time and date and all that kind of stuff. So the main ones are
Yes,
on page 1.
Darla. Okay, Darla popped in. She said Burger King for number one, question mark, and then the barf emoji. So I feel like I'm a little bit validated here because I never expected that to be on the list, let alone number one. But if you are using price as your main indicator, okay, Michael Raker says, I do not like McDonald's or Burger King nuggets. Chick-fil-A nuggets are number one. Yes, Michael, I'm about to cinch this deal right there with my number one pick of Chick-fil-A.
Okay,
Now,
I get number 2. You ready?
yes, let's hear it.
So I'm going to throw a curveball here.
Okay.
I think we should include boneless wings.
Okay,
And
I'll
the
allow it.
reason is they're chicken
Sure.
and they aren't wings.
Sure. They don't have bones.
And they're
Okay, I'll
about the
allow it.
size and they're about the size of a nugget.
Yeah.
So my number 2 is 7-Eleven.
Right. Wait a minute. Yeah,
They
I
have the
couldn't
best
even
deal. They have the best deal. 8 boneless wings, and they have a nice sauce they put on it.
I should have
For
clarified taste was the top indicator. You
they
have
taste
gone
good. They taste
based on
good,
price.
and they taste good.
Michael Raker says if you are a wimp if you eat boneless wings. Well,
Now
sign me
wait a
up
minute. Now
for
wait a minute. Now wait a minute. Whoa. Wait a minute. I like wings on the bone better. So
okay.
where you didn't bring up that topic
To
of
be
where to
fair,
get the best.
that is true. To be fair, Michael, we did not, this was just specifically about nuggets. He does
Right.
prefer, let the record be known that he does
Exactly.
prefer boneless wings better. I mean,
No
actual wings.
bone.
Yeah,
Yeah,
actual
and
wings.
they do a good job of that at 7-Eleven as well.
Can't believe I'm writing 7-Eleven for your number two pick. This is an outrage. This is an outrage. Okay. My
I
number
know
two,
what your I know what your number 2 is.
no, I know I don't think so. Darla says Brian doesn't know how to play this game, right?
Wendy's. Your number 2 is Wendy's.
No, it is not. No, it
Oh,
is
isn't it?
not. Okay, my number two, believe it or not, is Popeyes. So
Yeah, I thought about Popeyes. Yeah,
Popeyes came out with their chicken nuggets not too long ago. They're fairly
yeah,
new for Popeyes, but
they
they
are
are
new.
chicken chunks similar to
Yeah,
Chick-fil-A, and they are
yeah,
spicy, which I like. Again, they would not rate high on your list because they are fairly
they
pricey.
are
Popeyes in
expensive, man.
general is very pricey. But
They
as far
are.
as taste goes, they are right underneath. I put it right underneath Chick-fil-A. So that's where I went with my number two. All right, what's your number
Okay.
three? I'm afraid.
So, so number 3, I'm going to go with Wendy's.
Okay. Do you like spicy or regular, or does it matter?
I tend to like regular, but I can eat spicy.
Michael says, "Yep, anything from Popeyes is golden." I feel like I'm doing to do pretty well on this one. Maybe everybody's taking pity on me because I lost so many of these,
So
but I feel like I'm doing
so
well.
I'm letting you know I'm not letting Sherry win.
He he pretty much did. He gave me Chick-fil-A. I feel like that's gonna cinch it right there for me.
Is just
All
three or
right.
we're doing four?
Four. So my number three is McDonald's. You know what? Come for me, hate me, that's fine. I love a good McDonald's. And you know what we like to tell them? We like to tell them to do it.
That's just gristle with stuff on it.
Yeah, okay. Okay, fine. Sure. I'll give you that. But I like to tell them when I order it, I like to tell them extra crispy or yeah, I think we
Oh,
say extra crispy there because then they'll leave them in there for like 30 seconds extra and it makes them
oh,
nice and golden.
oh, I'll have to
Okay.
remember that.
So those that those so McDonald's is my number three. All right, and so what's your number four?
So I'm going to go with one you probably wouldn't have thought of, but again, it's the boneless chicken wings, and it's Pizza Hut.
You're right. I would never have thought about it. Okay, so you could.
I thought about Bojangles Bits,
Oh, I forgot
but
about the Jangles. Yeah,
yeah, S4, but I'm going to go with the Pizza Hut.
I never even remember Pizza Hut has anything like that because it is, you're correlating it with like, do you
It's
order
a
it to get
side. It's a side. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. One thing too, for both Michael who and I who love Popeyes, I also order there a lot, or what they call blackened tenders, which are the tenders that come without breading, but they put their
Uh-huh.
spices on there, and so it's a little bit more low carb, and you can, they're very tasty. I really enjoy those, but really I'm a fan of Popeyes, so. All right, so my number four is KFC. So KFC has a similar nuggets. It is an actual chicken breast chunk. It's
Yeah,
not
I
like
think it's bigger than a nugget though.
yeah, they're probably more like Popeyes, I think, or more like Chick-fil-A, but they are again kind of pricey. Um,
And I could argue with you that, tenders are not nuggets.
that is
Tenders
true,
are
but
longer.
I will that yes, well, I would agree with that. The KFC actually does have nuggets now.
Oh,
So
do they?
this is
Okay.
not the tender. This is a very similar, not as comparable. It's not as good as Chick-fil-A, but it is
Yeah,
a
I'm not a
small
big
chunk.
KFC fan. I find they tend to be very, I don't know.
They are not my favorite, of course. It's the last on my list, but also they're far away from us. I very rarely go. We don't have one near us necessarily, so I don't ever really go over there. But as far as what's on my top four, so let me recap because I want to go over my honorable mentions to see if your list is outrageous. And I love when you
Oh, come
say you
on.
probably didn't take it. You probably didn't think of this. You're exactly right. I did not think of them. I did not think of them. Burger King for you, 7-Eleven, Wendy's, Pizza Hut, and then I have Chick-fil-A, Popeyes, McDonald's, and KFC. My honorable mention, though, as we finish up here, um, this goes back to your point about tenders being different than nuggets because Dairy Queen has very good chicken tender. My girls really like that. It's a solid chicken
I
tender,
like tenders. Yeah.
but I don't think they have nuggets, or at least we haven't gotten them. So that
You just
one,
cut them
whether
in half then.
yes, I can chop them up in chunks and then qualify for this game. But I also like Wendy's spicy nuggets. Like if I'm going to Wendy's to get a chicken nuggets, I'm gonna get the spicy ones because I think that they're better. They're breading, and
Yeah.
I just like spicy stuff. So I get that ostracizes most of the folks maybe that don't like spicy foods. They're never gonna order it. But um, well, this was a lot of fun. I appreciate all of your. You know what took me by surprise the most? Burger King number one and 7-Eleven at all. That is blowing my mind. So
Now,
the other,
will you try? Hey, do you go to 7-Eleven at all?
I do have one. I don't ever go there.
So you go sometime and try it.
Okay, so you're recommending boneless wings at 7-Eleven,
Yep.
and you get eight or so for how
8 on a
much?
stick. They actually stick it on a stick.
Oh, it's on a stick. Do you eat,
Eight
Brian, do
pieces.
you eat it off the stick? Do you
No, no, no,
actually?
no. No, no, I take them off.
please just let me envision you eating them off the stick, just all up in your beard and everything. Just that's how I'm just going to imagine it. In fact, the
Well,
next time you get it, get Lori to take a video of it. I feel like that's true. I feel like that's how it's gonna go. So, oh boy, well, this was fun. Thank you so much for popping in, spending some time with us today. If you guys have any questions or follow-ups for Dr. Wagner's talk earlier
yeah,
on
if they want to talk to me
history,
at any at all about Christian history, I would love to talk to anybody,
it's
anytime.
his passion, it's his love. You will not be bothering him. So pop
Not
over,
at
find a
all.
way if you need a way to get in touch with him. If you haven't had a class, don't have his email or whatever,
Email
get with
Ryan
us. We'll
Wagner
be
at
sure to
bbc.edu. Yeah,
get that taken care of. And most importantly, vote in this poll afterwards because
that's
I
right.
need
Burger
your vote of
King,
confidence.
7-Eleven. So don't forget to vote for me, right?
I love it. That's so funny. All right, well, we're gonna let you guys go. Thank you so much for joining us today, and be sure to reach out if you have any questions. Thanks, guys.